Day 3 alpine skiing action at Whistler Creekside, the men's slalom sitting taking place. 29-year-old Austrian Philipp Bonadiemen getting out of the gate. He's competing in all 5 alpine skiing events at these Paralympic Games. The Austrian placed 7th at the 2009 World Championships. And Bonadiemen across the line with a time of 49.39 seconds to move him into 3rd spot. Martin Braxenthaler of Germany is the defending Paralympic champion and is hoping for a repeat here in Vancouver. The 38-year-old skiing well on this first run, and he crosses with a time of 48.96 seconds to put him in 2nd spot. Jürgen Egel of Austria is up next. Skiers that don't have use of their legs use what's called a sit ski, a chair that's fitted to them on top of a ski. A great run for Egel, and he leads the pack after this first run. Heading into the second run of the day, Egel of Austria leads the way, Braxenthaler of Germany sits second, and Philipp Bonadiemen finds himself in 3rd. Josh Dueck of Canada rounds out the top 4. Skiers complete 2 different runs on 2 different courses, and the fastest combined time will win. The weather starting to get blustery up at Whistler, quite a bit of snow falling. Bonadiemen ranked 3rd after the first run, and he's skiing quite well. He crosses the line with a 3rd fastest time in the second run to put him into bronze medal position. Josh Dueck of Canada ranked 4th coming into the second run. And he's off. He's having a much faster run here than he did in the first. Before his accident, he competed in freestyle skiing at the provincial level. The home country crowd cheering him home, and he stretches across the finish line, and that will be good enough to put him in silver medal position. Martin Braxenthaler sits second coming into this run. He lists his hobby as fishing, golf, and swimming when he's not on the slopes. He's getting bounced around a bit in this run, but overall looking pretty good. He really pushes across the line, and that time's fast enough to move him into 1st with 1 skier left to go. Jürgen Egel ranked number 1 coming into this final run and is the last man to ski and the only one that can knock Braxenthaler out of top spot. But luck is not on his side this day. He runs into the poles, which knocks him over and ends his gold medal hopes. That means that Martin Braxenthaler of Germany defends his gold medal from Torino, Canada's Josh Dueck earns the silver, and Austria's Philipp Bonadiemen skis well enough to win the bronze. The men's slalom visually impaired going on day 3 at Whistler Creekside. This is Gian Maria Dal Maestro of Italy, led by guide Tommaso Ballasso. Visually impaired skiers use the same equipment as able-bodied skiers, but ski with a guide that talks to them during the run through a headset inside the helmet. Maestro skates across the line with a time of 50.74 seconds to put him into third. 19-year-old Jakub Krako of Slovakia is the reigning world champion in this discipline. He competed in the Torino Games but did not finish his run and is looking for a much better performance here in Vancouver. So far, things are looking good for Krako, who tucks hard through the finish with a time of 50.41 seconds to move him into second place. John Santacana Maiztegui of Spain is up next, led by guide Miguel Galindo Garces. The 29-year-old was ranked number 1 in the world standings during the 2008-2009 season. He is currently a physiotherapy student in Barcelona. He crosses the line with a very fast time of 49.88 seconds to move him into top spot. After the first run of the day, Maiztegui of Spain sits first, Jakub Krako of Slovakia is second, and Gian Maria Dal Maestro rounds out the top 3 after the first run of the day. All skiers must complete 2 different runs on 2 different courses, and the fastest combined time will win. Maestro of Italy ready to take his second run. The weather playing a bit of a factor now, with a lot of snow falling up at Whistler. Maestro lists his hobbies as information technology, karate, and mountain biking. He suffers blindness due to a congenital disease. The Italian has a slower run than his first, but this performance is good enough to give him the bronze medal. Maiztegui is ranked first coming into the second run of the day. He missed the Torino Games when he suffered a leg fracture just 2 months prior while competing in the European Cup. It's looking like this will be a successful Paralympics for him. His time earns him the silver medal. Jakub Krako is ranked second coming into this run. He has very good form and is skiing this second run very well. He is currently studying at the University of Economics in Bratislava, Slovakia. The crowd knows this is a good run. The 19-year-old skied the fastest time of the second run and had the fastest combined time, earning him top spot and the title of 2010 Paralympic champion. Jakub Krako takes home the gold for Slovakia. John Maiztegui earns the silver for Spain, and Gian Maria Del Maestro finds himself in bronze medal position. Day 3 alpine skiing action going up at Whistler Creekside as the women's slalom sitting gets underway. Kuniko Obinata of Japan getting ready for her first run of the day. The 37-year-old placed third in the slalom event in the 2002 Paralympic Games in Salt Lake City. Obinata stretching across the finish line with a time good enough to move her into third place. Tatsuko Aoki of Japan up next. Aoki is the bronze medalist from the Torino and Salt Lake City Games and is currently ranked 6th in the world. She crosses with a good time, but she would not finish the second run, leaving her out of contention. Claudia Lausch of Austria skied next. She's competing in all 5 alpine events at these games. The Austrian looking good coming into the final stages of this run. And she finishes with a good time, moving her into second spot. 40-year-old Stephanie Victor from the United States is the defending Paralympic champion in the women's slalom sitting and is currently ranked number 1 in the world. Victor with the fastest time in the first run, and she's happy with that performance. The United States sits atop the leaderboard after run number 1. Claudia Lausch of Austria trails Victor by 1.24 seconds, and Tatsuko Aoki rounds out the top 3. Each skier will complete a second run on a different course, and the fastest combined time will win. Kuniko Obinata of Japan is up first in this second run. She is currently ranked 5th in the world and will compete in all 5 alpine events at these games. Obinata having a solid run down this slalom course. The Japanese skier crosses with a time good enough to move her into the bronze medal position. Stephanie Victor had the fastest time of the first run, and we'll have to see if she can repeat that here in the second. The American was left with serious injuries after being hit by an out-of-control car while loading a car in her own driveway. Before her accident, she played football and competed in athletics. Victor with a much slower run, and she'd have to wait and see if it would be good enough. Claudia Lausch of Austria is the final woman to ski. The Austrian placed 6th in Torino and should better that result here in Vancouver. She was ranked number 1 in the World Cup standings in the 2008-2009 season. Lausch with a blazing time, overcoming a 1.24-second deficit after the opening run to win her second Paralympic medal, a gold. Claudia Lausch of Austria finishes the day with a gold medal. Stephanie Victor of the United States takes home the silver, and Kuniko Obanata of Japan earns the bronze. Day 3 alpine skiing action at Whistler Creekside, the women's slalom visually impaired. Jessica Gallagher of Australia all set to go. Skiers with visual impairments use the same equipment as able-bodied skiers, but ski with a guide in front of them. The guide talks to them during the run through a headset inside the helmet. Gallagher looking good. And crossing the line with a time of 57.52 seconds, good enough to be ranked 3rd after the first run. Canada's Vivian Forrest is having a very successful World Cup season, winning 4 slalom races and placing 2nd at the 2009 World Championships. The 31-year-old skiing well here in front of her home nation. Forrest really pushing across the line, and she crosses with a time of 56.76 seconds. She's ranked 2nd after the first run. Sabine Gasteiger, a 53-year-old from Austria, won silver in Torino and is looking to better that result here in Vancouver. Gasteiger is the reigning world champion in the slalom event. Great form from her. And she will cross the line with a time of 55.90 seconds to put her into the first, heading into the second run of the day. Gasteiger leads the pack, with Forrest sitting 86/100ths of a second back, and Gallagher is 1.63 seconds out of top spot. The slalom is the shortest course of all the alpine events with the quickest turns. Athletes complete 2 runs on 2 different courses, and the fastest combined time wins. Gallagher up for her second run of the day, and she's hoping for a good one as a birthday present. She turned 24 on this day. The enthusiastic crowd cheering Gallagher home. And the Australian tucks through the finish and records a time good enough for the bronze medal, almost 3 seconds faster than the fourth-place finisher. Vivian Forrest of Canada is up next. Forrest is a customer service representative when she's not competing for Canada and cites hockey, cycling, and goalball as her other athletic interests. The home crowd really cheering her home at this point, and she posts the second best times in both runs, moving her into the silver medal position. The only woman left that can find herself on the podium is mother of 3, Sabina Gasteiger. Gasteiger proving that age is just a number here in this run. She skis with fantastic form. The retired occupational therapist crosses the line with the fastest time of the day in both runs and improves on her silver medal performance in Torino by taking gold here in Vancouver. The Austrian coaching staff is thrilled with that performance. Sabina Gasteiger of Austria finds herself standing atop the podium in women's slalom visually impaired. Vivian Forrest of Canada earns the silver, and Jessica Gallagher takes home the bronze.
Cross-country skiing men's 15-kilometer sitting at Whistler Paralympic Park. In Paralympic cross-country skiing, athletes are categorized as standing, sitting, or visually impaired and compete against other athletes with similar disabilities. Sit skiers usually have no use of their legs and use a special-made sit ski, which is a specially built chair called a sledge attached to a pair of skis. Technology has developed a new sit ski that adds kick to each push and more glide from each arm movement. Combined with modern alloys and materials, the athletes are able to improve their training techniques and ski faster. The men's 15K race is considered a long-distance event. The race has an interval start time with skiers starting every 30 seconds. The International Paralympic Committee then uses a special percentage system in order to equalize the disability time handicap for the skiers. That percentage is then applied to each skier's final time, and the skier with the lowest calculated time is the winner. One of the favorites entering the race was Trygve Toskadal Larsen of Norway, currently ranked number 2 in the IPC World Cup. Larsen did not qualify for the biathlon 2.4K pursuit final a day earlier, so he was out on the cross-country course looking to make up for that disappointment. The 37-year-old Larsen works as a teacher in Norway. In addition to cross-country, Larsen has represented Norway in ice sledge hockey. He won gold with his team at the 2007 European Championships. But there would be no medal for Larsen on this day. He was in 5th place through most of the race, but ended up in 4th place. His final time of 42 minutes and 17 seconds was a minute 16 behind the leader. Another top contender in the men's 15K sitting was Italy's Enzo Mazziello. Mazziello finished a disappointing 22nd in qualifying for the men's biathlon pursuit a day earlier, so he too was also trying to make up for that disappointment. Mazziello is ranked third in the IPC World Cup standings, and he started this race in the 24th spot, but he worked his way up among the leaders. For the 41-year-old Mazziello, this marks his second Paralympics. He finished fourth in this same event 4 years ago in Torino, just missing out on a medal. But on this day, a strong finish, and Mazziello would claim a medal, finishing the course in 41 minutes and 54 seconds, almost a minute behind the leader, but still good enough for third place and a bronze medal. One of the surprises in the race was 23-year-old Russian Roman Petushkov. Petushkov was not considered a medal contender in this race, but he got out to a very quick start and was the leader for much of the race. Petushkov's time led most of the race, but he went out very, very fast and could not maintain the pace. Petushkov considerably slowed down near the end. He also had some trouble in the corners, but he manages to hold on for second place. His time of 41 minutes and 11 seconds was only 10 seconds behind the leader, and it was good enough for a silver medal. Fellow Russian Irek Zarapov was looking to win his second gold medal in as many days. Zarapov won the men's biathlon 2.4K pursuit a day earlier, and he was now trying to do the same in the men's cross-country 15K. Zarapov started the competition in 22nd place, but with long and powerful arm strokes, he maintained a consistent pace. He was running in second place for most of the race behind his fellow Russian Petushkov, but in the final kilometers, with Petushkov losing his strength, Zarapov's time improved, and the 26-year-old Russian would take the lead. Coming down the stretch, Zarapov would cross the finish line with a time of 41 minutes and 1 second, good enough for first place and the gold medal. So the final results in the men's cross-country 15K sitting. Irek Zarapov of Russia wins his second gold of the Games. Roman Petushkov, also of Russia, takes home the silver, and Enzo Mazziello of Italy earns the bronze. Cross-country skiing, women's 10-kilometer sitting at Whistler Paralympic Park. In Paralympic cross-country skiing, athletes are categorized as standing, sitting, or visually impaired and compete against athletes with similar disabilities. Sit skiers usually have no use of their legs and use a special-made sit ski, which is a specially built chair called a sledge attached to a pair of skis. The women's 10K race is considered a long-distance event. The race has an interval start time with skiers starting every 30 seconds. One of the medal contenders in this race was Svetlana Trifonova of the Ukraine. Trifonova won 2 medals at the Paralympic Winter Games 4 years ago in Torino. She won a bronze in the 10K biathlon and a silver in the 7.5K biathlon. But she was searching for her first medal in cross country. Competing in her 3rd Paralympic Games, the 43-year-old Trifonova would finish the course in 32 minutes and 50 seconds, putting her in 4th place just outside the medals. A very tough break for Maria Ivleva of Russia. Ivleva won silver a day earlier in the biathlon pursuit and was a favorite to win a medal here in the 10K. But when she entered the stadium, she skied in the wrong lane, forgetting to make the loop around the stadium. That turned out to be a very costly mistake, as Ivleva was in medal contention until then. She made the lap and would end up finishing the race in 6th place. A very costly mistake and a very disappointed skier. Entering this competition, the skier to beat was Olena Urkovska of the Ukraine, ranked number 1 overall in the IPC World Cup standings in both biathlon and cross-country skiing. The 26-year-old had already won a gold medal in Vancouver, as a day earlier she took gold in the biathlon 2.4K pursuit sitting. 4 years earlier in Torino, Urkovska won 5 Paralympic medals, including 4 gold. 2 of those golds were in cross country, but not in the 10K, so she was searching for her first medal in this particular race. Urkovska would cross the finish line in 32 minutes and 43 seconds. That would be almost 2 minutes behind the leader, but still good enough for 3rd place. Some of the loudest cheers were reserved for Canada's very own Colette Bourgeon. The 48-year-old elementary school teacher competed on the national level in cross-country running before a car accident left her with a spinal cord injury. Since 1992, she's competed and won medals in both the Paralympic Winter Games and Summer Games. In this same event 4 years ago in Torino, Bourgeon won the bronze. She's so popular in her hometown in Saskatoon that they named a street after her. Motivated by competing on her home turf, Bourgeon led early in the race and fared well on the flats. She faltered a bit on the uphills, but she finished with a time of 31 minutes and 49 seconds, good enough for 2nd place. One of the top medal contenders was Ludmila Vauchuk of Belarus. Unlike many of her competitors in this race, Vauchuk did not compete a day earlier in the biathlon, so unlike her top rivals from the Ukraine, the 28-year-old Vauchuk may have held a small advantage with a little more freshness in her arms. She had an early lead and never looked back, powering up many of the steep hills that punished many of her competitors. Ranked 4th in the IPC World Cup standings, Vauchuk won cross-country medals 4 years ago in Torino, and she was in top medal form here. Valchok finished the race in 30 minutes and 52 seconds. Good enough for first place and winning by a minute over her rivals. The women's 10K cross country is one of the more demanding events in cross country, with steep uphills and difficult flats challenging the athletes at every turn. The grit and determination from the skiers can be seen in the face of Svetlana Yaroshevich of Russia. The 32-year-old gave it everything she had, and she would finish the race in 11th place, more than 18 minutes behind the leader. But her hard work and determination embodies the spirit of all the athletes in this grueling and challenging race. So the women's cross-country 10K sitting results had Ludmila Valchuk of Belarus winning the gold. Veteran Paralympian Colette Bourgeon of Canada with the silver, and Olena Urkovska of Ukraine taking home the bronze.
Day 3 ice sledge hockey action at Thunderbird Arena. The Italians taking on heavily favored Norway a day after losing to Canada, and the Italians come out strong. The Italians with pressure early on. Florian Planker with a nifty move around the defender and a pass in front to Werner Winkler, who slides it past the Norwegian netminder Roger Johansson. Italy's on the board 1-0. To the second now, and Italy keeps attacking. Planker with the breakaway, but Johansson's there to make the save. The Italians looking strong. Gianluigi Rosa with another breakaway. Johansson comes up with another great save to keep Norway in this game. To the third, and Norway starts to bring pressure with a good chance by superstar Rolf Einar Petersen, followed by this shot by Eskil Hagen. And the attack paid off. A shot from the point by Helge Bjornstad deflects off the Italian defender, and Kjell Royn slides it past Stilitano to tie this game at 1 apiece. Bjornstad continuing with the pressure with a hard wrist shot, but Stilitano gets his glove on it to keep the game tied at 1. With just over a minute left to go in the game, Bjornstad gets it out in front, and Royn is there to put it away, earning his second goal of the game, giving the Norwegians their second win of the tournament, 2-1 over the Italians. Italy played well in this game, keeping it tight, but suffered their second loss of the competition. Day 3 ice sledge hockey action. The host nation of Canada taking on Sweden in front of 5,500 fans at Thunderbird Arena. Canada gets on the board first as the puck dribbles across the goal line on a shot from Brad Bowden. Less than 15 seconds later, Sweden equalized on a breakaway from Nicholas Invarsson. This game's all tied up at 1. Halfway through the first, Greg Westlake makes it 2-1 on his way to a hat-trick in this game. Adam Dixon gets his first of 2 on the day, taking Canada up by 2. End of the first, Bowden nets his second on the day, 4-1 for the red team. To the second, and Westlake out in front, and he slaps it past Ulf Nielsen for a 5-1 lead. Canada with the man advantage, and Dixon earns his second goal with a hard wrist shot. Canada up by 5. Now watch this. Sweden with a 2-man advantage here, but it's Canada's Greg Westlake with the shot from center ice, and it bounces past Nielsen. An unbelievable goal, and the Swedes definitely want that one back. 7-1 Canada. Mark Dorian with his first on the day on his way to a hat-trick. Dorian would score the final 2 goals of the game to give the host nation a big win over Sweden. Canada outshot the Swedes 32-3 and beat them by a score of 10-1 for its second win of the tournament. Sweden suffers its second loss in as many days. Group A ice sledge hockey action getting underway at the University of British Columbia's Thunderbird Arena with a matchup between the United States and the Czech Republic. The Americans bringing pressure early on. In the first, the Americans on the power play, and Taylor Chase with a hard wrist shot, but it's Taylor Lipsett that's there to capitalize on the rebound to make it 1-0 USA. To the second now, and the Americans driving towards the net. Joe Howard with the shot, but Vapenka is there to make the easy save. The Czechs with a chance, but can't make anything happen. Alexei Salmone with a great individual effort here. The speedy forward goes around the Czech defender and finished the play with a wrist shot that caught the upper right corner. The USA is up by 2. In the third, Jim Connolly with the insurance marker on a wrist shot that squeezed past Vapenka. The USA beat the Czech Republic 3-0 to seal a spot in the semifinals. The Czech Republic suffers its second loss of the tournament.
Day 3 in wheelchair curling at the Paralympic Curling Center. Round-robin play continuing. Norway taking on the defending gold medalist Canada. The Canadians won their first 2 games. Norway split their first 2. Norway leading 2-0 when they would steal a point in the third. Canadian skip Jim Armstrong with the hammer, but he can't get past all the traffic, and Norway collects the point to take a 3-0 lead. To the 5th, and Norway's lead is down to 1. Norway up 3-2. Canada lying 1. But Norway with the hammer, or last shot of the end. Norwegian skip Rune Lordston trying to draw his stone into the circle. But he's unable to do it. Canada steals the point, and we are tied at 3. Norway would go back on top 5-3 before Canada would begin its rally. In the 7th end, Armstrong with the hammer, and he will promote his own stone into the house. A great shot there. They had to measure to see who would get the point. And it would be Canada's stone that is closer to the tee line, so Canada pulls within 1. To the 8th and final end, Norway up 5-4, but Canada lying 2. Norway needs a big shot or else Canada gets the win. Lawrenson can't get a stone past all the traffic. And Canada steals 2 points in the final end to get a 6-5 come-from-behind win. So Canada remains perfect in round-robin play with 3 wins and no losses. Norway falls to 1 win with 2 losses. Day 3 and wheelchair curling at the Paralympic Curling Center. Round-robin play continuing. Italy taking on Switzerland. The Italians lost their first game while the Swiss won their first game. Already up 1-0. Italy with a chance to steal some points in the second. Lying 4, Italian skip Andrea Tabinelli with the takeout of the Swiss stone. And Italy now lying 5 and with a chance to take a commanding lead. Switzerland, though, with the hammer or last shot of the end. And Swiss skip Manfred Bollinger just needs to draw his stone near the button. But Bollinger's shot is off the mark and goes through the house. Italy collects 5 and the Italians lead 6-0 after 2. To the third end now. Italy lying 3 and Switzerland with the hammer. Once again, Bollinger, who's participating in his second Paralympics, is unable to get the throw that he needs. Italy steals 3 more to take a 9-0 lead. To the fifth, and Italy leading 10-0, but Switzerland with a chance here to get back in the game. The Swiss lying 3 and with the hammer. And Bollinger draws his stone into the house for a 4th point. So the Swiss have cut into the lead. Italy up 10-4. But that would be as close as Switzerland would come. In the 6th and final end, Tabinelli would wrap things up. Switzerland lying 1. But Tabinelli uses the hammer to take out the Swiss stone. 3 more for Italy, and the Swiss concede, so Italy wins 13-4. Both teams now have 1 win and 1 loss in round-robin play. Day 3 in wheelchair curling at the Paralympic Curling Center. Round-robin play continuing. The United States taking on Germany. Second end, Germany leading 1-0. And German skip Jans Jager will draw his stone into the house. Germany would steal 3 points to take a 4-0 lead. To the third end, the United States lying 2 with the hammer and a chance to collect a 3rd point. American skip Augusto Perez with the throw, but he doesn't have enough weight on the stone. He will come up short. So Perez and the Americans have to settle for 2. The lead is cut in half. Germany leading 4-2. To the 7th end now. Germany still leading. The score 5-4. Jager with the throw. And he will try to take out the American stone. He does, but his stone will also leave the house, so the Americans steal a point there, and that ties the game at 5. And the United States would complete the comeback in the 8th and final end, with the Americans lying 1, Germany with the hammer. Jager looking for a takeout and a German win. He gets by the guards, but he will miss everything. So the Americans steal the point to take a 6-5 win. The U.S. has now won 2 of its first 3 games. Germany falls to 1 win and 1 loss in tournament play. Day 3 in wheelchair curling at the Paralympic Curling Center. Round-robin play, Japan against Korea. Japan would get on the board first. Korea lying 3, but Japan with the hammer. Japanese skip Yoji Nakajima draws his stone into the house. Japan leads 1-0. Very next end, Korea with a nice throw. Tapping out 2 Japanese stones. Korea would collect 1 point in the end and tie the game, and this game would remain close throughout. To the third end, Korean skip Hakson Kim attempting to take out the Japanese stone. Instead, the Japanese stone bites the edge of the house. Japan would get 1 point in the end to take a 2-1 lead. In the 4th, Korea with the hammer. And a nice takeout here by Kim. Korea would end up collecting 2 points in that end to take a 3-2 lead. Now to the fifth. And Korea with another takeout. Koreans picked up 2, and they lead 5-2. But Japan would tie things up in the sixth. Japan with a takeout, and the Japanese collect 3 to tie the game at 5. To the seventh end now. Japan here trying to take out the Korean stone, but Nakajima cannot do it. Korea gets 2 points to take a 7-5 lead. And that lead would hold up. In the eighth and final end, Korea will tap out the Japanese stone. Japan doesn't have enough stones left to catch up, so Korea wins 7-5. Both Japan and Korea now have records of 1 win and 1 loss in tournament play. Wheelchair curling at the Paralympic Curling Center. The evening session of the round-robin tournament featured Sweden against Italy. Italy up early and lying 1, but Swedish skip Jali Ljungnell with the hammer in the second end. But he misses the takeout attempt. Italy steals the point to take a 2-0 lead, and the Italians would never look back. One of the few highlights for Sweden was this shot by Patrick Berman in the fifth. A triple takeout, knocking out 3 Italian stones. But believe it or not, Italy would put 3 more stones in the house to collect 3 points in that fifth end to take a commanding 8-0 lead. This game was never in doubt. Italy lying 1 in the seventh and final end. Italian skip Andre Tabanelli looking for more. And although his shot's a little short, Italy still gets the point, and they come away with an impressive 9-1 victory. Italy now has 2 wins and 1 loss. Sweden has lost its first 3 games of the tournament. Wheelchair curling at the Paralympic Curling Center. The evening session of the round-robin tournament featured Japan against Germany. Both teams split their first 2 games of the tournament. This night would belong to Germany. The Germans leading 7-1 in the fifth end. German skip Jens Jager with the hammer, and he draws his stone into the house. 3 for Germany, and they lead 10-1. Japan trying to come back in the sixth. Japanese skip Yoji Nakajima with the hammer and lying 2. And you can make it 3. The score is now 10-4 Germany. But that would be as close as Japan would get. In the seventh and final end, Jager will draw his stone into the house. Two more for Germany. And Germany wins it easily by a score of 12-4. Wheelchair curling at the Paralympic Curling Center. The evening session of the round-robin tournament. Switzerland facing Great Britain. The Brits looking for their first win. And they would lead 2-0 early, but Switzerland comes back to tie things up. Lying 1 and with the hammer, Swiss skip Manfred Bollinger draws his stone into the house. 2 for Switzerland, and we're tied at 2. To the fourth, Great Britain's Eileen Nielsen with the shot. She will tap away the Swiss stone. The Brits take a point and go up 3-2, and Great Britain would never look back. Later, with the Brits lying 4, Switzerland with the hammer, but Bollinger cannot draw his stone into the house close enough to the tee line. Great Britain collects 4 to take a commanding 7-2 lead. In the sixth end, still leading by 5, Nielsen will draw her stone into the house. Two more points. Great Britain goes on to an easy 10-2 victory. Both teams now have 1 win and 2 losses in the round-robin tournament.